you gotten sucked into Formula One by Drive to Survive or last year's incredible championship race? Did you know you can actually invest in Formula One, the company? Let's get into what this stock is. Formula One is actually owned by Liberty Media, who acquired the company in 2017 and created a tracking stock with the ticker FWONK. Now, this tracking stock has a $16.6 billion valuation, so that's really effectively what you're paying for this company. From a financial standpoint, in 2021, Formula One generated $2.14 billion in revenue and actually lost $190 million during the year. So not great financials, but remember that was highly impacted by the pandemic. First half of 2022 was significantly better, $1.1 billion in revenue and net income of $77 million. There is $3.4 billion in debt on the balance sheet, so that's worth keeping in mind. So why should the company continue to grow? Well, one big reason is that popularity is going up and Formula One is just starting to monetize that. There are new TV deals coming into place in 2023. In the US, ESPN and ABC, who are owned by Disney, will pay about $75 to $90 million to carry Formula One races on their network. They paid about $5 million last year, and that's because when they signed that deal a few years ago, Formula One just simply wasn't as popular as it is today. Drive to Survive on Netflix has also been renewed for 2 more seasons. And Formula One is also taking greater control of the races that they have. They bought $240 million of land in Las Vegas to help put on the race that they're hosting there starting next year. I think that's a trend that we're going to see long term, is Formula One starting to own more of that event space. I want to take a quick second to thank this video's sponsor, The Motley Fool. You can check out fool.com/rive, which is right here, for their top 10 stock picks to buy right now. Again, fool.com/rive. It really helps out the show. So what are we actually getting with this stock? Well, Liberty Media has always had a sort of strange setup, and what they do is they have 3 tracking stocks because they own SiriusXM, the Braves Group, and then Formula One. So here's the SEC filing and the direct words from them. Formula One Group does not represent a separate legal entity, but rather represents those businesses, assets, and liabilities that have been attributed to each respective group. Holders of tracking stocks have no direct claim to the group's stock or assets thereof and do not own, by virtue of their ownership of Liberty tracking stock, any equity or voting interest in the public company. So that sounds kind of strange. What do you actually own when you own a tracking stock in a Liberty Media company? Well, they finished that as well. Holders of tracking stocks are stockholders of the parent corporation, which would be Liberty Media, with a single board of directors and subject to all of the risks and liabilities of that parent corporation. So effectively, you're buying a small piece of Liberty Media, which then is supposed to track the Formula One Group. This is a very strange structure, but Liberty Media has been very successful deploying this in the past. And so if you're interested in buying into Formula One, I wouldn't let the tracking stock aspect of it deter you. So now we know you can buy a piece of Formula One, but is it a good investment? Well, this is a $16.6 billion company with $3.4 billion in debt, and it frankly just doesn't make much as far as net income goes. Now, there are some tailwinds I mentioned with the media rights and potentially being able to extract more revenue from race week, but I don't see this as a great value long term at this point. You're paying a lot of money for Formula One, and there just isn't the financial backing to justify the current valuation of the stock. This is one I'm going to stay out of, but I will definitely enjoy race week, and I will be tracking whether or not Formula One as a company is able to generate a little more income and become more attractive as an investment.